got these fools wearing dresses and fucking fingernail polish and shit. I ain't feeling that shit. Like,
Hey, what's good, everybody? It's your boy, C Through the Script, and today I'm going to be touching on the topic of humiliation rituals, because honestly, it feels like more often than expected, a male entertainer is taking on the role of a female, or even just wearing makeup, essentially emasculating themselves for a check. However, before we get into all of that, it might help to get a look back into some history surrounding the Greek and Roman civilizations and some rituals they would partake in that still get broadcasted to the masses till this very day. But before we do that, let's define the word ritual, because that's what we're going to be discussing, right? Humiliation rituals. So this is from the 1560s. And ritual basically means pertaining to or consisting of a rite or rites, from French ritual, or directly from Latin ritualis, relating to religious rites, from ritus, religious observance or ceremony, custom, usage. Then you have the definition of ritualistic. In 1844 it states pertaining to or according to a ritual. And then you have ritualist, one versed in or devoted to rituals. That's from the 1650s. Later, one who advocates a particular sacramental ritual, especially one established by law or custom. That's from the 1670s. And then by the late 19th century, ritualistic meant especially placing great emphasis on external forms and symbols related to ritually or ritualism. Now, understanding that, we got to dive into some more history. The wearing of a dress of the opposite gender during ritual, this would be called ritual transvestism. It belongs to rituals of reversal where the values of ordinary life are temporarily abandoned. It is often combined with functionally similar rites, as in Dionysiac rituals. It is a special case of ritual change of dress. A structural equivalent is taking up of freedman's dress by Roman citizens during the Saturnalia. In Greece, it occurs in many rituals. Among them, those were understood as transformations from initiatory rituals. For example, oskophoria, see initiation, where a temporary role reversal was characteristic for marginality. Persons who perpetually live on the margins of society might perpetually wear transvestite attire, as did the eunuch priest of Cybele. Now that's referring to the Oxford Classical Dictionary. Then you have the Greeks. As we might expect, deities associated with gender bending or gender blending might also have followers who followed their example. This is indeed the case. Devotees of Dionysus cross-dressed in connection with different sacred occasions. Dionysian festivals, as Heinrichs has observed, frequently featured role reversal as cross-dressing. In the festival of Oskophoria, for example, you would see wealthy noblemen dress as women and lead a sacred procession from the temple of Dionysius to that of Athena. Okay, so boom, now you have a better understanding of all this history behind role reversal. One must be reminded Hollywood is built off deception and trickery, using supporting forces being spiritually and physically. Also, mysticism, being Kabbalah, is a huge component in the entertainment industry. Its mystical practices are used to subliminally and other times not so secretly promote perverse agendas, paying tribute to ritualistic traditions and customs for the purpose of worshiping certain deities, a common deity being the Roman and Greek god Saturn or Kronos. Now, let me also break down the Jesuit practice of humility for those not aware. Granted, I am discussing humiliation rituals. Saint Ignatius, the founder of the Jesuits, like many spiritual masters over the centuries, suggested that humility was a prerequisite for the spiritual life. In his spiritual exercises, he described three kinds of humility. The first being to humble myself to total obedience to God. The second being to be ready for honor or dishonor, poverty or wealth, or anything else for God. And the third, to desire poverty, dishonor, and even be a fool for God, since Christ was. The last of these, he said, was the most perfect because it expressed a desire to be like Christ. Now, here I want to show you a picture from a comic that was made by a guy named Jack T. Chick. And this image from his comic actually goes over the Jesuits' motto, which is Ad Merum de Gloriam. And in this comic, you can see it reads, "Every Jesuit is also in its power. He is taught to say, for the greater glory of God," which is the actual motto in English, which is used to justify any atrocity he might be ordered to carry out. He is a soldier, always on standby, never allowed a thought of his own. I just thought this was worth bringing up in light of these individuals doing things that they don't want to do. These are not their thoughts. These are people that are paying them to do these things that they thought of, and they're selling out for money.
I mean, I'm a conspiracy theorist to a degree. Like when I connect dots that maybe shouldn't be connected, I don't know. But certain dots, like when I see that they put every black man in the movies in a dress at some point in their career, I'll be connecting them down like, wow, these brothers got to wear a dress. This happened to me. I'm doing a movie with Martin.
Yeah.
The movie's going good. So I walk in the trailer. I'm like, man, this must be the wrong trailer because there's a dress in here. They come in. The writer comes in. I think he's the writer. He's like, Dave, listen, we got this hilarious scene where Martin's sneaking out of jail. So he disguises you as a prostitute. And he put this dress on, and huh? What? A prostitute? Nah, I'm not doing that. I don't feel comfortable with that. That should have been in the discussion. What? You don't feel comfortable with it? I mean, it's a hilarious bit. All the greats have done it. So, well, if all the greats have done it, it's kind of hacky, right? You're right. So why don't we just not do it? Because I don't feel comfortable wearing a dress. Oh, come on, Dave, listen, we got it all set up. We're supposed to shoot. Every minute you waste costs this much money. You know, the pressure comes in. Huh. He said, I'm not wearing no dress, man. I'm funnier than a dress. Just give me something funny to say. I don't need to wear no dress to be funny. What am I, Milton Berle? You know, we're going like this. And then finally he's like, and he leaves. And then, like, the director comes, Dave, it really would be great if you wear the dress. What is wrong? What is this, Brokeback Mountain in here? So...
Now, as I've stated previous times, the Jesuits have significant influence on Hollywood and cinema as a whole. Remember, it was a German Jesuit scholar behind the creation of the magic lantern, which was essentially the cinema of the past. Fast forward in the time of 1930, you have a member of the Society of Jesus writing the official Hollywood production code. Now, allow me to read from Gregory D. Black's book titled Hollywood Censored: Morality Codes, Catholics, and the Movies. It goes on to read, at the same time, Will Hayes was also thinking of more intense self-regulation because of the frequent attacks by religious organizations and the increasing strictness of censorship boards across the country. In August of 1929, Hayes sent his chief legal counsel, Charles C. Pettijohn, to Chicago to try to abrogate official censorship. On Chicago's censorship board sat Father Fitzgeorge Deneen, S.J., pastor at St. Ignatius Parish in Chicago. A close friend of Quigley and confidant to one of America's most powerful Catholics, Cardinal George W. Mundelein of Chicago, Deneen was an activist priest who often condemned immoral films shown in his parish. His organization of local film boycotts had brought him to the attention of Mundelein, who had recommended Deneen as his representative to the Chicago Censorship Board in 1918. Deneen vociferously objected Pettijohn's assertion that the film industry did not need local censorship. When Pettijohn then suggested that censorship be shifted from the city to the church, Cardinal Mundelein objected. Quigley and Deneen then offered a counter-proposal. The movie industry, using a Catholic code, would ensure that movies were made correctly and thereby eliminate the need for censorship. Pettijohn and Hayes were interested. Father Deneen arranged for Martin Quigley to meet privately with Cardinal Mundelein to discuss his concept of a Catholic code for the movies. Mundelein had long favored police censorship of the new medium. Quigley argued that a new code of behavior written by Catholics and backed by the hierarchy of the church would eliminate the need for the police or political censorship. Quigley told the cardinal that a moral code strictly enforced during production could convert films into powerful lessons of morality for the masses. Rather than undermine the basic teachings of the church, this popular entertainment medium would become an ally. Now, knowing this, you must understand that control on this industry hasn't changed the slightest bit and has only gotten stronger. Now, allow me to go through a few examples using the practice of Gematria, showing some humiliation rituals that were done to entertainers over the years. First, I'm going to start with the rapper NBA Youngboy, who premiered a new song back in December of 2021, and in the video, it took a turn from the traditional gangster image to a face covered in makeup. Notice the day of the release had prime numerology of 59. The word humiliation alongside the words Negro and slave all equal 59, a number we've discussed before in similar manner. Moving on, you have the example of Isaiah Rashad from the TDE camp, who recently had a sex tape leaked by the numbers during Black History Month. However, it wasn't with him and another woman, it was actually with him and 2 other men. So here's the numerology behind it. The day that this story broke had prime numerology of 53, like his name, Isaiah Rashad, and the phrase gay rapper, both equaling 53 in the most pure cipher. From Isaiah's 30th to the leaking of the sex tape was a span of 270 days. Notice the phrase sex tape and the word ritual and sinful all equal 27. Lastly, sex tape and humility both equal 99 in their respective ciphers. It's quite fitting when you think about it, considering most of the time when these sex tapes are released, it's usually for the purposes of blackmail and someone on the other end is being humiliated. Then you have the example of the lesser known rap artist by the name of Lil Wop coming out as bisexual during Black History Month. And I mean, it's truly perfect coding, as his name Lil Wop and the word bisexual match in Gematria with the value of 30. The number 30 is interesting considering it pops up a lot in these examples. Worth noting, Isaiah Rashad is 30 at the time of his sex tape leak ritual, and then you have Lil Wop, which equals 30, like him being bisexual, the word bisexual being 30. And just so you know, the N word equals 30 in Gematria as well. Then you have our next example coming from the actor Lakeith Stanfield, who on the last day of Black History Month does a photo shoot in some female clothing. It's worth noting Lakeith is also 30 years old at the time of his humility ritual. Notice February 28th is the 59th day of the year, the day Lakeith's photos dropped. Remember, we discussed this number with NBA Youngboy. The words humiliation, Negro, and slave all equal 59, but also the phrase shortest month also equals 59. Last but not least, I want to also point out how the word ritual and the word humility match in Gematria with the number 55. It's clear to see that humility is a ritual that is practiced in the industry. As we've seen, it was practiced in ancient civilizations. Now, I had already damn near finished this video when March 27th rolled on by, and the now infamous slap from Will Smith to Chris Rock broke the internet. And I must mention that humiliation rituals are not confined to simply putting on a dress. I think it's fair to say being slapped on live television is quite humiliating. The point being is that these rituals are done for the purpose of distraction and energy harvesting. I highly recommend watching my video on that topic for a further understanding. Now, I just want to quickly point out one sort of detail about this infamous slap is the fact that it occurred on the 86th day of the year, March 27th. This is perfectly in line with the phrase humiliation ritual, which equals 86 in Gematria. Again, another perfect example of blatant mockery by the numbers. Also, be sure to peep my IG for a more detailed breakdown on the slap itself. Now, I want to end this video with some clips showing tons of examples of entertainers selling their morality for a check. Better yet, going through what we're calling the humiliation ritual. And guys, if you did enjoy the video, please be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Follow me on Instagram at See Through the Script. Other than that, it's your boy Script. Stay tuned for these clips, and I'm out.
Straight dope in this bitch.
Fucked up now, but
It looks great.
thanks, man. I'm trying to find something to do my hair, but I hate cheating. I don't like cheating on my neck.
Bruh, talk to me.
Is you wearing the Huggies, bro?
These the lie. See, look, today I ain't got on the Huggies. I had the Huggies on the other day. Today I got on the pull-ups.
How you doing, Wayne? Big got the whole family.
Talk again. I swear we only friends, alright.
And now you got these fools wearing dresses and and fucking fingernail polish and shit. I ain't feeling that shit. Like, you know.
Like I've told people in the past, I've never felt like more of a man than when I'm dressed like a woman.
Yeah.
Because I get to spread this message every single night, and it's amazing.
Another great comedian said that, you know, in the industry, they tried to make him wear a dress. Have you ever ran into that with scripts, and is that something that, you know, you wouldn't do, you know, for
I definitely haven't ran into to put on the dress. I mean, you know, you have to have boundaries. You have to have limits that you refuse to cross. You know, for me, I know what they are. They've yet to been challenged, so, you know, I don't have to speak on them. I was asked to dribble a basketball on a talk show this morning.
You look
said
good
no to
doing
that. Not that was a dress, but I was like, no, I'm gonna look stupid. You know, at the end of the day, you got to know that you're a brand. I'm a brand. You need to protect your brand at all times. When things happen that can possibly affect your brand, your brand can be diminished, and you don't want that to happen. So, you know, protecting my brand is definitely a priority.